Something big happened in the automotive world that nobody in the West ever saw coming. While every major car brand was chasing the same electric dream, one company thought differently. That company was BYD, and what they quietly built in secret changed everything in automobiles. The rest of the world was loud, making announcements, releasing concept cars, and bold promises. Tesla was dominating headlines. Volkswagen was spending billions. Hyundai was launching new electric models everywhere. Everyone assumed the future meant one thing only: fully electric, fully battery-powered, nothing else matters. But while that race was running loud and fast, BYD made a very different choice. They chose to solve the one problem that nobody else in the industry was addressing. That problem was simple. The world was not ready for fully electric cars just yet. Charging stations were rare, battery costs were high, range anxiety was very real for everyone. So BYD asked a different question altogether. What if the car could do both things? What if it could run on electricity when possible and switch to petrol when needed? The answer to that question became the BYD Seal 07 DMI, a car unlike any other. At first glance, it looks like a regular, stylish, modern electric sedan on the road, but under that sleek body lies technology that makes it one of the most capable cars. It can travel up to 125 kilometers on battery alone, completely silently through the city. And when the battery runs low, its petrol engine seamlessly steps in without any interruption. The total driving range with both systems working together reaches nearly 2,000 kilometers combined. 2,000 kilometers. That single number made automotive experts around the world stop and pay attention.
This was not just a new product launch. This was BYD sending a clear message to everyone. To understand why this matters so much, we need to go back a few years first. The global automotive industry had been through one of its biggest transformations in modern history recently. For over 100 years, cars ran on petrol and diesel and nothing else mattered. But then, climate change concerns grew, oil prices rose, air pollution in cities became unbearable. Governments around the world began setting deadlines to ban the sale of petrol-powered vehicles entirely. Car companies suddenly realized they had to change everything they had built over generations very quickly. The race toward electric vehicles became the biggest single shift the auto industry had ever seen. Tesla had already proven it was possible to build electric cars that people actually wanted. Their cars were fast, stylish, and connected in ways that traditional car makers had never imagined before. Tesla changed the entire conversation and forced every other manufacturer to rethink their own future plans. Soon after, the biggest names in the industry began their own electric vehicle journeys rapidly. Volkswagen announced massive investments to switch its entire lineup over to electric power very soon. Ford launched electric versions of its most beloved and iconic vehicles for a whole new generation. GM made bold promises about going fully electric before the end of the current decade entirely. Hyundai and Kia launched some of the most well-reviewed electric cars available on the market. Japan's Toyota, long known for its hybrid expertise, began developing new battery electric platforms too. The message from the entire industry seemed crystal clear. Petrol was the past, electric was the future.
Every major auto show was packed with shiny electric concept cars and very bold future promises. Investors poured billions into EV startups. Governments offered subsidies. Charging networks began expanding rapidly everywhere. But beneath all this excitement, a very uncomfortable truth was slowly beginning to emerge clearly. The technology was advancing fast, but the world around it was not keeping pace at all. Charging infrastructure remained painfully inadequate in most regions of the world outside of large cities. In rural areas, finding a charging station could sometimes take hours of searching and extra driving. Battery costs remained high, keeping electric car prices out of reach for ordinary working families everywhere. And range anxiety, the fear of running out of power mid-journey, never really went away completely. Survey after survey showed the same result. People liked electric cars, but hesitated deeply to buy them. The gap between admiring EVs and actually committing to owning one was still surprisingly wide everywhere. People wanted the benefits of electric driving without the constant worry of being stranded somewhere remote. That gap, that very specific human fear, was exactly where BYD decided to firmly plant its flag. While others were focused on solving battery range and charging speed as purely separate technical problems, BYD was asking a fundamentally different question about what drivers actually needed in their real lives. They were not just looking at technology, they were looking at human behavior and real daily habits. Most people do not drive hundreds of kilometers every single day in their normal routine at all. The average daily drive for most people worldwide falls somewhere between 30 and 60 kilometers only.
That means a car with even 70 kilometers of electric range covers most daily needs perfectly. But people also take longer trips on weekends, holidays, and for family or business travel regularly. And it is during those longer trips that the anxiety about range and charging truly kicks in. BYD saw this clearly. The real problem was not daily driving, it was occasional long journeys instead. If they could solve that one specific fear, they could make electric driving truly mainstream globally. This insight led them to double down on a technology they had already been developing quietly. That technology was called DMI, a system built to combine electric and petrol power very intelligently. The idea behind DMI was brilliantly simple, even if the engineering behind it was genuinely very complex. Build a car that runs on electric power most of the time, just like a proper EV, but also include a petrol engine that can step in whenever the battery runs completely low. This way, drivers get the quiet, smooth, economical experience of electric driving on a daily basis. And they also get the freedom and confidence of knowing petrol can cover any extra distance needed. No range anxiety, no searching for charging stations during long trips, no compromise on daily comfort at all. It sounds simple when described like this, but executing it well took years of very careful engineering. The challenge was making both systems work together so smoothly that the driver never feels any difference. BYD spent years refining the relationship between the battery, the electric motor, and the petrol engine carefully. They needed the transition between electric and petrol power to feel completely invisible to every driver. They needed the petrol engine to be quiet enough not to disturb the smooth electric driving experience. And they needed the overall system to be fuel-efficient enough to justify the entire hybrid approach. After years of development and refinement, the result was the DMI system, now fitted into the Seal 07. The BYD Seal 07 DMI is technically classified as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, or PHEV. This means it has both a battery pack that can be charged externally and a full petrol tank. Unlike older hybrids where petrol did most of the work, here electricity is clearly the top priority. The electric motor handles all normal driving. The petrol engine only assists when it is truly needed. This design philosophy makes the car behave far more like an electric vehicle than a petrol one. If you charge it at home overnight, you can drive to work and back on battery alone. No petrol consumed, no emissions produced, no noise from an engine running under the hood at all. For millions of people who commute within cities, this means they may rarely use any petrol at all. Think about what that means for a moment in terms of monthly fuel costs and real savings. Instead of filling up your tank every week, you plug in at home like charging your phone. The cost of electricity for charging is a fraction of what petrol costs in most countries worldwide. Over the course of a full year, the savings can be genuinely significant for the average driver. And all of this happens while the driving experience itself feels smoother than any traditional petrol car. Electric motors do not have gears in the traditional sense. They deliver power instantly and very smoothly. The moment you press the accelerator, the car responds immediately without any delay or hesitation whatsoever. In city traffic, this makes the car feel incredibly agile, responsive, and completely effortless to drive daily. There is no engine rumble at low speeds. No vibration through the steering wheel or your pedals. Just smooth, quiet, confident progress through city streets that makes every single drive genuinely pleasant and calm. Now let us talk about that electric range figure of 70 to 125 kilometers more carefully. The exact range depends on which specific variant of the Seal 7 DMI you actually choose to buy. Higher trim levels come with a larger battery pack, which naturally gives you more useful electric range. For someone living in a city and driving a normal daily commute, even 70 kilometers is enough. Most daily driving patterns in the world fit comfortably within that range with room to spare easily. School runs, grocery trips, office commutes, evening social plans, all covered without burning a single drop of petrol. And when the weekend comes and you want to drive somewhere further, the petrol engine is ready.
That is when the Seal 7 DMI truly reveals its greatest strength as a long-distance traveling companion. With the battery and the petrol engine working together, the total range approaches an incredible 2,000 kilometers. That's an extraordinary number by any standard in the current global automotive market right now today. To put it into clear perspective, 2,000 kilometers would comfortably get you from London all the way to Rome. It would take you from Los Angeles to well beyond Denver, with distance still remaining in the tank. This range is not just impressive on paper, it eliminates the single biggest fear associated with modern driving.
With 2,000 kilometers available, you simply do not need to worry about where to stop charging next. You drive, you enjoy the journey, and you stop when you want to, not when you absolutely must. This is the promise that BYD made with the Seal 07 DMI, and they truly delivered on it. To understand how they achieve this, we need to look at how the DMI system actually operates. At the heart of the system is a principle that sounds simple but is powerful in real practice. The electric motor is always the primary source of power for driving the car forward at all times. The petrol engine is not there to drive the wheels directly in the way traditional cars normally work. Instead, the petrol engine in the Seal 07 DMI acts primarily as a generator when it is running. It burns fuel to produce electricity, which is then fed either directly to the battery or the motor. This distinction is critically important because it changes how efficiently the petrol engine can be operated overall. In a traditional petrol car, the engine must work across a very wide range of speeds and loads. At some of those speeds, the engine is working quite inefficiently and burning more fuel than truly necessary. But in the DMI system, the petrol engine runs at the speed where it works most efficiently, always. This means less fuel is burned to generate the same amount of energy compared to any traditional engine. The result is dramatically better fuel economy than you would ever get from a conventional petrol vehicle. Meanwhile, the electric motor handles all the actual driving, delivering instant and seamless power to the wheels. The car's intelligent control system manages all of this automatically without any required input from the driver.
You simply drive, and the system works silently in the background to optimize every single passing moment. When battery charge is plentiful, the engine stays off and the car moves purely on clean electricity. When the battery starts running low, the engine starts quietly and begins generating helpful power to assist. On long highway stretches, both systems can work together to maintain excellent speed and efficiency simultaneously. At all times, the driver's experience remains smooth, quiet, and completely unaffected by what happens underneath them. This is the genius of the DMI approach. The technology works entirely for you, not against you. There are no modes to manually select, no complicated decisions about when to use which power source. The car handles all of that intelligence by itself, leaving the driver completely free to enjoy the road. Now, let us look at the car itself, because technology alone has never sold cars to real people. Design, comfort, and features matter just as much, especially in the highly competitive modern sedan segment today. BYD clearly understood this, which is why the Seal 07 DMI is not just smart, but genuinely beautiful. From the outside, the car presents itself as a confident, sleek, and genuinely premium-looking modern sedan. The body has been shaped with aerodynamics firmly in mind, giving it a smooth and very flowing appearance. Sharp LED headlights at the front give the car a distinctly modern and slightly aggressive face forward. The roofline sweeps gracefully toward the rear, creating a coupe-like silhouette that looks genuinely elegant from outside. At the back, the LED taillights stretch across the full width for a very premium look. The overall impression is of a car that belongs firmly in the luxury segment, without any apology. Step inside, and the quality of the interior immediately reinforces that premium positioning very convincingly indeed. The cabin is clean, modern, and deliberately free from any clutter of unnecessary buttons and switches everywhere. BYD has embraced a minimalist design language that feels both highly sophisticated and genuinely comfortable inside. Soft, high-quality materials cover the dashboard, door panels, and seat surfaces throughout the entire interior nicely. The seats themselves are supportive and comfortable, designed to handle long journeys without causing any driver fatigue. A large digital display in front of the driver provides all essential information in a very clear way. Speed, battery level, driving range, fuel level, and navigation are all visible at a single effortless glance.
Dominating the center of the dashboard is a large touchscreen that controls most of the car's functions. Through it, you manage the navigation system, audio, climate control, connectivity, and many vehicle settings with ease. The screen is responsive, intuitive, and has the feel of a modern smartphone rather than old car tech. Smartphone integration is seamless, allowing you to mirror your phone and access apps while driving completely safely. Rear passengers have not been forgotten either, with generous legroom and real comfort on longer journeys always. The air conditioning system distributes cool or warm air evenly throughout the entire cabin at all times. Premium variants add features like power-adjustable seats, ambient interior lighting, and a genuinely high-quality sound system.
These additions push the car firmly into territory that competitors price significantly higher in most global markets. Safety technology is another area where the Seal 07 DMI has been equipped very comprehensively and thoughtfully. Multiple airbags are positioned throughout the cabin to protect every passenger in any event of collision. Electronic stability control helps the driver maintain full control during sudden maneuvers or any slippery road conditions. An advanced braking system responds quickly and firmly in emergencies to minimize stopping distances very effectively indeed. Driver assistance features monitor the road ahead, providing early warnings before potential hazards become serious real problems. Some variants include even more advanced systems capable of detecting danger and intervening automatically when it is needed. Together, these features create a car that is not just impressive on paper, but genuinely safe on roads. Now comes the bigger question that the automotive world is currently wrestling with most intensely right now. What does the success of a car like the BYD Seal 07 DMI mean for the whole industry? The implications stretch far beyond just one car model or even one single company's entire product lineup. They touch on the fundamental strategic direction that the entire global automotive industry is now clearly heading toward. For years, the dominant narrative in the industry was simple and seemingly unstoppable in its powerful momentum. Electric vehicles were the future. Petrol was the past. Anyone not fully committed to EVs was falling behind. That narrative made sense given what was happening with technology investment and government policy globally everywhere.
Battery costs were falling steadily. Electric car range was improving. Charging networks were slowly being built out. The trajectory pointed clearly toward a world where fully electric cars would eventually dominate every single road. But trajectories and reality are sometimes two very different things when you look closely at the ground level. The reality on the ground is that charging infrastructure remains deeply and stubbornly uneven across the world today. In major cities of developed countries, finding a charging point is becoming increasingly easy and genuinely convenient. But venture outside those urban centers or travel to developing countries, and the picture changes very dramatically. In rural areas of Asia, Africa, South America, and even parts of Europe, chargers remain unfortunately very scarce. For ordinary families in these regions, buying a fully electric car still feels like a very risky gamble. The fear of being stranded without any power is not irrational in the least. In many places, it is justified. This is precisely where BYD's hybrid strategy starts looking less like a compromise and more like true wisdom. By offering a car that works beautifully as an EV in cities but never leaves you stranded anywhere, BYD has created a product that is genuinely accessible to a far wider range of real people globally. Someone in a major city drives daily on clean electric power, rarely visiting any petrol station at all. Someone in a smaller town or rural area can rely on the petrol engine whenever charging is unavailable. Both drivers get the same car. Both get the same quality, technology, and driving experience throughout ownership. Only the way they use the car differs based on where they live and how they naturally drive.